This presentation is going to discuss the three dimensions of health literacy, referred to as functional, interactive, and critical, as well as the benefits and limitations of integrating health literacy in school-based health and physical education programs. Health literacy is a relatively new concept, the definition of which is evolving and has not consistently been applied. The Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, also known as ACARA, defined health literacy as the ability to selectively access and critically analyse information and take action to promote their own and others' good health. The World Health Organization defines health literacy as the cognitive and social skills which determine the motivation and ability of individuals to gain access to, understand and use information in ways which promote and maintain good health. Although there is a difference between these two definitions, there is a certain key focus that they both have, which is the ability to maintain good health. As health literacy is such a broad concept, it is essential that the definitions from the ACARA and the World Health Organization are taken into account in order to ensure a greater chance of health literacy being consistently applied. At a broad level, literacy is a skill which is taught in the English curriculum as soon as the students begin their schooling. It is clear that the literacy skills are essential as they ensure that students are being taught the skills that they require to lead a successful life. Health literacy needs to be viewed in the same light. It is critical that students are being taught about the importance of their health and the actions necessary to ensure that they are leading healthy lives, in order to ensure that when these students have finished school, that they are equipped with the necessary skills. Although the concept of health literacy is a relatively new one, it has been identified as one of the 5 key propositions that underpin the Australian Curriculum Health and Physical Education, which is commonly referred to as the ACHPE. The ACHPE identifies health literacy, an empowering strategy that involves young people taking action to promote their own and others' good health. Now on to the 3 dimensions of health literacy: functional, interactive, and critical, which are looked at in Nutbeam's model for health literacy. It is worth noting that Nutbeam's 2000 model was chosen to inform the approach of health literacy in the Australian curriculum, and that Nutbeam's developed his model for health literacy of earlier definitions of health literacy. The functional branch of health literacy looks at transmission and understanding of factual information on health, employing basic cognitive and literacy skills. The functional branch is also referred to as the basic branch. Someone who sits at a basic or functional level of literacy has sufficient basic skills in reading and writing to be able to function effectively in everyday situations. The interactive branch of literacy applies to someone with more advanced skills than someone at the functional level, and is also referred to as the communicative branch. Someone who sits at the interactive level has more advanced cognitive and literacy skills, which together with social skills can be used to actively participate in everyday activities, to extract information and derive meaning from different forms of communication, and to apply new information to changing circumstances. The critical branch of literacy is the highest attainable level, and someone who has achieved this has advanced cognitive and social skills which allow for critical analysis of health-related information and the capacity to use information to develop personal and community empowerment. Someone who sits at a critical level has the ability to use their knowledge and be in much higher control of situations they may face. As aspiring educators, it is essential that we are doing everything we can to ensure that our students are completing the work necessary and be taught the correct skills in order to reach the critical level. The 3 branches of health literacy allow people the chance to move between the 3 branches effectively, moving up the stage as they develop further from functional through to interactive and then to critical. The aim of the education system should be for students to reach a critical level prior to leaving school. There are a number of benefits and limitations that exist when looking at integrating health literacy in school-based health and physical education programs. The clearest benefit is that students are going to be provided with a well-rounded education surrounding their health that will ensure they have a higher knowledge of health-related issues and how to lead healthy lives. As well as this, an education surrounding the understanding of health literacy also ensures that people have a greater autonomy, and personal empowerment in decision making, as well as engagement in a wider range of health actions that extend from personal behaviours to social action to address the determinations of health. Unfortunately, there are a number of limitations that exist when looking at integrating health literacy in school-based health and physical education programs. The issue that the Health and Physical Education Department faces in most schools is that there is not a lot of emphasis on health and physical education being an essential area that receives a high level of academic attention. In fact, health promotion advocates believe schools have fallen short of meeting their responsibilities, citing ongoing issues of competing agendas, low priority of status, few and or poorly trained health education teachers, lack of resources, ad hoc support from health services, and significant gaps between policy and practice. In order for schools to assist their students in reaching the critical level of health literacy, there are three challenges that schools must face: the traditional structure and functions of schools, teachers' practice and skills, and the time and resources. It has long been known that the education sector does not have a clear focus on the significance of health and well-being, to the extent that they may not see health and well-being as their core business, choosing to leave it to the health professionals. As well as this, school subjects and the activities that lie outside of the 3 R's are often viewed as competing for valuable schools' time and limited resources. Health and physical education is not viewed as a high priority discipline, which is a critical issue that needs to be addressed in order to ensure a higher focus on health literacy. As well as discussing the limitations of integrating health literacy in school-based health and physical education programs, it is important to note that health education programs rooted externally to the school are rarely embraced to any meaningful extent. It is important that if health literacy is soon to be successfully integrated into schools, it should be introduced internally to schools rather than externally, in order to ensure a higher rate of success. Critical that needs to be looked at and addressed. In conclusion, improving health literacy is a critical task and one that needs to be looked at and addressed. The improvement of health literacy involves more than the transmission of health information, although that remains a fundamental task. What is meant by this is that it is one thing for people to be presented with the information, however it is more important for this information to be fully comprehended in order for it to be effective once it is put into practice.